We are back and greeted with a new set. Hi guys, welcome back to Casting Commons, the show where we discuss and talk all things Pauper. Wow, I really messed this up. I'm a bit rusty. I'm your host, Teasdale, and this is my co-host, the spirit mascot himself, Reese.
Hello.
I'm definitely out of touch here. I had that whole, I was ready for it, but I wasn't. Before we start, do not forget to support us by rating us 5 stars on Spotify, following us on Twitter at CastingCommons1 for the most recent Pauper deck lists, and of course, subscribe to us on YouTube. Before I ask you how you are, I just want to mention and think that obviously we got quite a lot of positive feedback on the sort of special episode, which was quite nice to see. I did forget to upload it on YouTube. I have already done that now, so sorry, apologise for people. Mad rush before I went away. But a lot of positivity that we'll obviously try and look to see if we can squeeze other specials sort of things, or maybe even change it up episode-wise something, because it was really, really positive. Really good to see. So thank you and appreciate that. And then, yeah, hello. Welcome back, Reese. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Playing quite a bit of Pauper. Went to a winner box last week. At Geeks of the Galaxy in Spennymoor, which was really good. It was the first event. They had just over 20 people. So it was quite a good showing for the very first event. And it went really well. Me and Michael, who went through, or two of us who went through, Steelix was there as well. Me and Michael split the finals, which was nice. So I got a load of Strixhaven packs.
Looks like you're going to need them.
Well, yeah, maybe. And then going to another winner box this weekend, also in the Northeast in Whitley Bay, which we're going to talk about in the event shout out thing. But yeah, good to see a lot of just Pauper popping up. Mostly for us in the Northeast. There's not that many events in Cumbria, but it's a lot more convenient than going to Leeds or Manchester or something.
Or Darksphere even in London.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, definitely. Definitely sweet to see that there's a lot of Northeast events popping off for sure. But anyways, one thing that I want to jump into a Pauper thought, which I thought was quite interesting. There was quite a lot of banning discussion, because there always is in all sorts of Discords and Reddit and stuff, but it was quite a calm and collected banning discussion as well, which I really enjoyed, and it was good to read, but it got a lot of interest and points across, and they were talking about this in the FAMS Discord, and the main thing they were talking about was, I don't know where it started or who originated these conversations, but join the FAMS Discord and check it out, it's in the main discussion. And the main thing that was mentioned was they were talking about banning Sneaky Snacker, which isn't really the question that is related to, but they were talking about basically it's part of the top creature and so much percent and 4 rows or whatever, then the other argument was about spells that interact with it or whatever, which is by the by. The main Pauper thought question that I actually it stemmed in my brain was, is there a number that basically means that once that card gets to that number, or is 4 copies in this deck or the top 6 decks or whatever, if a card gets to that number, should it be on the podium to be banned, is basically the question. I'm not saying that is Snacker, by the way, because there's lots of cards that are more played than Snacker, which the thing shows. It is the number 1 creature, but basically every spell in the top 10 is higher played than Snacker.
Yeah.
So that isn't my question of do we ban Snacker. That is not the point of this. The point obviously is, so is there a number and should there be a number is my question. And obviously the only card that comes to mind is that was banned for being too represented. Is obviously Deadly Dispute was the big one. So then do we...
I don't think that was the whole reason.
Yeah, but it's part of the reason. It was really highly representative. It was really in a lot of decks, and it was just the best thing to be doing and all that sort of stuff. So, because if we base it off the conversation of what the ban explanation said, I'll just read the snippet for Deadly Dispute, which was anytime you look at the top 6 plus decks within many different archetypes, and they're all playing the same 8 core cards, referring to Deadly Dispute and Wellspring, it causes for a bit of concern. For example, this decision was made, and the article was mostly written before Paupergeddon a couple of weekends ago, but the top 8 featured 7 decks with 4 Deadly Disputes. It can begin to homogenize the format. So, not in terms of Snacker, but obviously the conversation stemmed from there. Is there a number? The rough number we seem to have got is 30-ish%, which doesn't seem right, because obviously a lot of these cards, there's some cards here that are around 30%, and if not more. Is there a number, and should we have a number?
No. No, there isn't, and no, we shouldn't have a number.
So why?
There's
and why?
Like a few angles to look at this from. Firstly, like the Deadly Dispute thing being, it's because it's a percentage is just wrong. Like it was a percentage, but it was the fact that it was making decks look the same. So like that bit you read, for example, doesn't just talk about it being Deadly Dispute, it talks about it being 4 Deadly Dispute and 4 Ica Wellspring in the decks. You look at Sneaky Snacker decks, the Sneaky Snacker decks don't play 4 Sneaky Snacker and 4 something else. Like Mono Blue Terror or Blue Black Terror don't play 4 Faithless Lootings for the Sneaky Snacker. But like, so if another card, like other than Snacker, like if you look at the format and every deck plays 4 Ash Barons, like every single deck in the format plays 4 Ash Barons in the mana base, like you're not banning Ash Barons. Like even if its play rate was 100%, you're not banning, like you're not banning Ash Barons. Yeah, so I think it's very, very contextual. I don't think there is a number. I think the problem is when it's a high percentage of play and it makes the decks look very similar or function very similar in a way that Deadly Dispute did, where it's not 4 cards in every deck, it's now 8 cards, 10 cards, 12 cards, all the same in every deck. And the card in question also has to be powerful enough to be considered for that as well. Like if you're putting the same 8 cards in every deck, but it's not that good, it's going to fade out quite quickly, isn't it?
I think though as well, you do from in the terms of obviously the Snacker and all the other colours, like obviously like blue runs X, red runs Y, and all that sort of stuff. They obviously don't run the same 8 cards, but obviously as you mentioned there about like the functionality, the obviously you can end up them to an extent having those similar play styles, like the Snacker draws, regardless of the deck, can function very similar. Which obviously is not a bad thing. It's just obviously an observation of does everything then come down to Snacker in that respect. But yeah, I do tend to agree. I don't think there should be a number. I do think I would like, well, I don't even know if I would like that, but it's more like a number to at least say, oh, this should be at least looked at or be on people's radar. Like, and I don't think that's necessarily necessarily true for main deck cards, because obviously we talked before we started about Pyroblast and all the blasts and stuff. Like they are incredibly high played, but they also are a lot lower than what they should be because there's 2 different versions and they're represented differently. So like
and I think it's the fact of having numbers as well, and if you set a number on something, and with the numbers like that we've got here, like people just tend to interpret numbers in a disingenuous way to sort of suit their narrative.
Yeah, of course.
Like a lot of the discussion was, oh well, Sneaky Snacker is the most played creature, and the second most played creature is played to answer Sneaky Snacker, with it being Fairy Macabre. But that's literally just not the case at all. If Sneaky Snacker was not in the format, Elves would still have Fairy Macabre. If Spy was not in the format, Elves would not play Fairy Macabre in the sideboard. Like the Elves deck is not sideboarding in Fairy Macabre for Sneaky Snacker. It's just not a thing. So there's a huge percentage point of your second creature that is not like supported by your argument. Same with Nihil Spellbomb being the most played card, or it's most played to answer Snacker. But if Terror wasn't in the format, like the percentage of Spellbomb in the main deck would drop massively. because it's not just for Snacker, it's for other things.
Yeah.
And then that leads into like your Pyroblast thing. Like Pyroblast being the second most played card is just it's not really correct, is it? Because firstly, it's the most expensive one on Magic Online, so you see a lot of lists that play Red Elemental Blast instead, when Pyroblast is just strictly better, and if they had them, they would play them. And then people like weirdly split them, like they'll put 3 Pyroblasts and 2 Red Elemental Blasts when it should just be 4 or it should just be 5 Pyroblasts essentially, shouldn't it? Really?
Yeah. Yeah, but I do find that like that side of things quite interesting, because obviously there is a lot of blasts in the in there, because there's a lot of blue decks, there's a lot of red decks, so they're both, and they all have different variants, and they're all just generically good cards against those color combinations. So it is likely to see those high. And then, as we also touched on there, like if you do put a number on it, those then cards have to then get under review automatically.
Yeah,
because you put a number on it.
Which is silly.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I thought it was an interesting, like the actual ban discussion, you know, it seems to have faded out as of late because the format seems quite cyclical. And it's to me personally, it seems in a really good spot, really healthy spot. But yeah, obviously, so I haven't really seen much ban conversation. But with this, it did make me think about the percentage number and things like that with to do with Deadly Dispute. I
think a ban can never just be on a percentage number.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah, definitely.
The format could be amazing, but Sneaky Snacker could be in like 30% of decks. Like, are you going to ban Sneaky Snacker if the format's the best it's ever been? It needs to be, the percentage number, played number can be a factor. Like, if something's not played at all, but it's really horrible for the format, like, you can probably leave it because it's not played. But it needs to mostly be focused on power level and homogenization of the format. Which Sneaky Snacker just, it's powerful, but it's not like off the scale. And then the way it's played makes it so it's not homogenous. Because the deck's like, it's not like Deadly Dispute. You don't have to play blue. You don't have to play black. Like, there's red-black decks, red-white decks, blue-black decks, mono-blue decks. Like, basically anything that's not green, basically, can play Sneaky Snacker, and you could probably fit it in a green deck if you were so inclined.
I think, my only thing there for like the homogenization side of things for Snacker there is that because it fits in every deck that's not like it's basically any color, as you say, that's not green. It obviously, it's the feel for how the games play out at that point. Like, I think for me, it's not the number there. It's more if decks started putting them in. Like, so when Snacker first came out, people started putting in Grixis Affinity, for example, and then they realised it's slow, it's clunky, it's not what the deck wants to be doing, blah, 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 and all that sort of stuff. If that turned out not to be the case, and then a deck that wants to be playing artifacts and doing certain things that's completely separate to that strategy goes, oh, well, actually, this is the best thing I can be doing anyways. That's obviously a different conversation where decks
that's like the power level of Deadly Dispute versus Snacker. Like, it's just not on the same plane of power level. Yeah.
It's basically like, you're playing this card because, well, it's the best thing to be doing. And don't get me wrong, like, some of these combinations are really strong, like, as we've talked about with, like, Grab the Prize and all that sort of stuff with Snacker are really strong. The strong things to be doing, Brainstorm and such, but it is obviously different. It is a card that can be interacted with and can be answered and stuff. And it's also a good tool against strong strategies in the current metagame.
And I think just in of itself, like, obviously we're a bit stuck on the Snacker now, but its play patterns are just distinctly different in whatever color combination you put it in. Like, it's not the same thing happening again. Like, Mono Red Madness, for example, is always just bringing it back at sorcery speed tapped. Whereas like Mono Blue or Blue Black Terror, like, you've got access to Brainstorm, you've got access to like triple cantrip or whatever in their turn. You can bring it back end of their turn or like after it's been removed in their turn or something, which is very different to Mono Red.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. about the percentage side of things. I do think, obviously, as we sort of touched on there, to wrap that up, it can be part of the conversation. It can also be an indicator for the panel if something's really highly played. Do we need to have a look at this? And I think that's a perfect place for it to be. But setting a number without any context can definitely hinder things more than grow things, I guess.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Pretty interesting. Just to obviously let you all know, which we've touched on previously, if you have an interesting thought that you think like sort of on the similar vein, you can obviously join the Discord and post that into our channel, and we can take that into consideration to talk about. We've had a few over the last few months, to be fair, from our listeners, which is always good to see. Happy to move on. So moving on to some tournament news. As Reece mentioned, this coming weekend at Whitley Bay in Bay Games is a Pauper winner box. £13 entry, starts at 12. All that sort of good stuff. Pretty exciting. And then, speaking of Dark Sphere earlier, which is why it was in my head, the threepenny bit, I think I've said that right, is I believe, the first Pauper Trios event in England, which is pretty sweet. And that is on May 23rd in Dark Sphere, London. Be a cool one. I do like the idea of Pauper Trios, to be fair, team trios. Obviously, you've had the luxury of playing it, and it does seem quite fun. So check those out. The links for both of those will be in the description in the show notes below, so you can happily touch that. And then we're going to cover this weekend's challenge is just gone. We're just going to basically miss off the weekend before. Basically, that was the first weekend that Strixhaven was out. There was only one showing of a new Strixhaven card, but we'll be talking about it anyways this weekend for the exact same deck, so it's totally fine. We've got the 4 challenges to cover as per usual.
So the first challenge, Thursday, the 30th of April, 54 players. First place was Boros Tribe. Second place was Mono Red Madness. Third was Black White Blade. Fourth was Mono Blue Terror. Fifth was Boros Moxite. Sixth was Blue Black Terror. Seventh was Gardens. And eighth was Mono Red Sly. And then the 2 near misses. Ninth was Elves. And 10th was White Weenie. Is that a straight 10 unique decks in the first challenge?
Yep.
Pretty thick. But the standout definitely is this Boros Tribe list. Which has basically come about due to the new card from Strixhaven, which is cool because when I looked at Strixhaven, I was like, this set doesn't seem to have much. But it does have Spirit Mascot, which is red and a white for a 2/2. And whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. And basically the combo is something we've spoke about before quite a while ago, which is the Eidolons from Dissension, I believe.
Yep.
Along with the aforementioned Sneaky Snacker, because it does leave your graveyard. And the backup is the backup / enabler is Tyler's Tribe.
Yeah, so I really like this sort of tier. Like I tried so this deck runs 2 abandon attachments. I tried a sort of Eidolon Tribe deck when abandon attachments came out, because you already have Boros, you already have Thrill and Discovery, right? Which is red and a white, gain 2 life, you may discard 2 cards, if you do, draw 3 cards. And then you get abandon attachments, which is also a multicolored version of like Highway Robbery-esque card. We do have another new card as well, right? Pursue the Past as a Strixhaven beauty, which is red and a white, you gain 2 life, you may discard a card, if you do, draw 2 cards, so it's like a small Thrill and Discovery, but it has flashback as well for 2 red and a white. So essentially that leaves you with 10 draw spells, right? You've also got 4 Faithless Loot as well, because I feel like that obviously is a given. You have more than 10, right? They've got, they're not running the full 4 in this particular list, they're running 7, 8, 9 multicolored draw spells, which all work with Snacker, which is another bonus. They all make your Eidolons come back. And the really interesting thing that all gels together is the Spirit Mascot is multicolored, so that brings them all back. And the Eidolons leave separately as well, which is a really big thing that I like for the spirit mascot, right? So your mascot just gets absolutely humongous very, very quickly. But yeah, it seems like a pretty cool take on the deck.
Yeah, it's sort of like Tribe with an actual backup plan.
Yeah.
Which is something we don't normally see from the blue-white Tribe lists.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually, I'm gonna do this and this is my plan.
Yeah.
But this having the big threat of Tribe and then just like massive guy coming alongside it as well as like the sneaky snackers to go over the top. Yeah, it is really cool. Obviously, even just with the sneaky snacker, you can do like a weird Boros control-y game plan on its own, and then the spirit mascot is basically the perfect fit for this deck.
Yeah, it seems pretty good to. I'm pretty impressed with it. It does seem like the good thing that I like about it is when you normally see Boros Tribe decks or any Tribe deck, Tribe's the win con, and then that's all it's got going on. But this is like Tribe is fully the backup plan, which I really, really like. It's like, I am going to kill you with my card advantage, and then we'll sort of have Tribe in there to either combo you or just sit there and keep putting the stuff in the bin.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is a sweet one. And nice to see Strixhaven make an impact essentially immediately.
Definitely. But I think Pursue the Past is another strong card though. Like, to be fair, it was I did have a brief look at the set, and it was probably the only card I could see as being like, was my first thought of like, oh, this is probably the card of the set. But that was a low bar, since though, as we've had all these sort of grab the prize sort of effects do well, and this is sort of like just a pseudo thrilling discovery, which is pretty strong.
Yeah. It was also a 2 of in the 5th place Boros Moxite list as well. Just 2 for now, not sort of committing too hard to it, but again, works with the Sneaky Snacker in a very different Boros build, with the whole Glint Hawk, Skyfisher, Moxite engine. But yeah, sweet to see it sort of coming to fairly distinct Boros decks.
I think that the thing that I like about Pursue, especially in that sort of deck, right? Obviously, it works naturally like Moxite and such with Sneaky Snacker, but this deck just draws so much air. Like, the deck, the way it's built, just has so much air. So this thing, A, being in your hand, and B, having flashback, is just I will get rid of air with a lot less cost to it than Faithless Looting, in my opinion. Like, obviously, you can just, here you go, it's there, and I can get rid, and I do what you, like, Faithless Looting's really awkward, right? It's in the wrong order for a lot of stuff, like Snacker included in that, where this does it in the right order. It's a Rummage, right? Not a Looting, whichever way around it is, which really makes it like, you discard first, so it like makes it really easy to fit in these Boros decks, which is pretty solid.
The only other list I wanted to mention was the 3rd place, the Black-White Blade. For the most part, it's just pretty straightforward. Black-White Blade list. You just have a 1-of Prophetic Prism that looks quite weird. Given it's got no splash at all. But the one card that sort of stood out to me is it's also playing a 1-of Anoint with Affliction in like the cast down, X4 cast down slot. Anoint with Affliction is a 1-of black instant, exile target creature with mana value 3 or less. And then it has Corrupted, which is exile that creature if its controller has 3 or more poison counters. Which they're never going to do in this deck. But 2 mana exile a creature with mana value 3 or less seems like quite a cool answer to the legendary creatures that cast down can't hit. So like Leonardo, like the Shredder.
And it also hits Snacker.
And it also is beneficial against Snacker as well.
Which seems like a good point. Because obviously these decks, like these like controlling mid-range decks, like obviously do struggle with Snacker, the recursion and all that sort of stuff. So having this easy 1-for-1, but also fixing the legendary problem of cast down is a pretty solid, to be fair, pretty solid way of dealing with it, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool one.
I do find the prophetic prism funny, as you say. There's no splash right. The only thing they have is the landscape to cycle, but it's quite funny because they've added 4 landscapes and a radiant fountain, and it looks like they've probably just got really bad mana with all this colourless and tapland stuff in, and it's like I'll fix it with all this colourless crap, but it's all right because I've got this one prophetic prism. It's just so weird. Yeah. It's just like an odd card in it. But I really do like these black white blade lists. I find it funny that they are quite low on actual artifacts, but we've sort of touched on that before. That it's literally is aiming for refurb and then switches it up if necessary. But yeah it is. Seems like a solid place to be right now. It seems like a pretty good deck.
Yeah, definitely. Seems quite well positioned. Other than that, I'm happy to move on to the Friday unless you've got else to mention.
I wrote blue black snacker. Sometimes I want to check that because there's one of them that's not Terra, right? And this one is Terra. So yeah, happy to move on.
The Friday challenge, Friday the 1st of May, 61 players, so quite a good turnout for a Friday. First place was Mono Blue Terra. Second place was Gardens. Third was Mono Red Madness. Fourth was Rally Red. Fifth was Jund Wildfire. Sorry. Sixth was Gardens. Seventh, Cycle Storm. And 8th, Jund Wildfire. And then the 2 near misses, Naya Gates in 9th and Core Gates in 10th. Cycle Storm? Back.
I also missed it's got a new card in.
Yeah, that's why it's back. That's the whole reason it's back.
I literally missed that it had that in. I seen Lotus Petal, Dranath Healer, scrolled down. I missed the page.
This is why it's playable again. It's running 4 copies of Page Loose Leaf, which is a 2-mana 0/2 legendary artifact creature. So you need your Anoint with Afflictions to get rid of that. And it has tap, add a colourless. It also has Grandeur, which is an ability from Future Sight, which you basically discard another copy of the same card and then reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal instant or sorcery card, put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom in a random order. Yeah, it's a sick one. It's a discard. You can buy them back with your Reaping the Graves. It finds your Reaping the Graves for you, or your Songs of the Damned, or your Rowan's Grim Search. Yeah, it's a really cool one. And adds mana.
I think the thing that I like is it sits there and adds mana, which is great. So at least has some use for the deck when you're not, obviously you haven't got another page. I really like the fact that obviously, as you say, you can basically bring these back. The only thing that feels weird to me is you always want one or the other. Like you mainly want Reaping and you mainly want Songs. But it obviously doesn't find one. It's just like you get what you're given, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But other than that,
when you're mid going off though, it basically stops you from whiffing. Like if you need mana, you just bin this, and you probably find mana. Like you've got high likelihood of finding mana, and then once you've done the first Reaping and brought either 1 or 2 of them back, to do 2 of them again and find 2 more spells after you've already found 2 spells the first time, it stacks up very fast. I think after the second one, you probably have just guaranteed to win the game with this deck, right?
Yeah.
It's going to reduce the percentage of whiffing till basically negligible.
Yeah. And it also can be sacked to Rowan's as well, which I also find really good.
Yeah, it's an artifact.
It has a lot of good... It does seem like a perfect slot for this deck. Fits in quite nicely. Which is pretty sweet to see.
Even just the tapping for 1 colourless mana as well. Is it 12 of the cyclers all cycle for just 1 colourless? So even that's not irrelevant. If it survives a turn before you go off.
Yeah. It is pretty interesting. Do you... No, you probably don't. I'm thinking, do you then change your cyclers accordingly? But I think you're already maxed out, right? I don't think there's any other 1-mana cyclers.
I don't believe there are any single colourless cyclers that are just straight up cycle, because otherwise it would probably just already be playing them over the Carabids. Because there's no real reason not to.
Yeah. But yeah, it is definitely pretty cool. I do like the fact that it's very useful in your deck, and then even if they do kill it, it fits perfectly into the deck to just, okay, I'll bring it back.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not just, you're also not like changing your plan when you bring it back either, which is also another thing. It's just part of the plan.
It's also cheap to fit in with it just being 2 colourless mana. Like if you're mid going off and then need to cast it, you can. You cast it, discard one, find the mana to replace what you've just put into it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Because it is, like, the grandeur part of things has no cost as well. So it's like, literally, if you just have 2, you just play it, discard one. So, okay, away you go. Do you, or can you do it instant speed? I assumed you couldn't, but I don't. Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
you can, yeah. Which is also another bonus. But yeah. I'm really excited that this card's, because I've seen this card, and I really wanted to, like, I looked, going, not obviously into Cycle Storm, but looked at, right, what spell wins us the game? What can we do where we discard another one of these, and that spell that it always finds wins us the game? And unfortunately, because it's Pauper, I couldn't find one. So you've basically, I was like, oh, well, this card's probably not really going to see play. So then I'm really happy that it's been fit into Cycle Storm so quickly. It's a cool one.
Yeah, it's sweet. And it's cool that it's brought a deck that was essentially dead in the water back. It's been quite a while since we've seen Cycle Storm perform well, so hopefully this is enough of a boost to sort of get it into contention again.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see if how this, like, if it develops anymore as well.
Yeah. The other list I wanted to touch on was the 9th place Naya Gates, which was piloted by Hyson. So always good to see the PFP getting involved. It's quite an interesting Naya Gates list. It doesn't run any Open the Gates with the green. It runs 4 of the new Pursue the Past, the Boros discard draw 2 with flashback that we've talked about. It also runs 4 Luton. Basically to enable it to also play Sneaky Snacker alongside its Riven Chrysalis, Sacred Cat Outlaw Medic, and a Singleton Guardian of the Guild Pact.
I do believe that the weekend of the pre-release, there was an IPT in Italy where this deck sort of, I think one of them won, and like there was so many in the top 8. But I think at the time when it was that weekend, they didn't even run Riven Chrysalis. So they ran like Naya Gates without Riven Chrysalis, which I thought was really odd. So I love the fact that the development from this deck from then till now is, we'll just put the big guy in. That'll do. Make the deck better anyways. Which makes sense, because you've got Rumble and all that sort of stuff anyways, and it's just the best thing. You're playing the right colours.
And I think Snacker in a Gates shell it seems to be just the perfect fit if you can get it to work. Obviously it's a lot more awkward than something just like the Boros lists or a blue terror list to make the Snacker work, but Pursue the Past definitely seems like it can be the card that fixes that problem.
Jeskai Corgates in like full blown Snacker form coming soon.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I think that the thing that stood out for me as well with this list is usually you look at a Gates list that's not just straight up core Gates and it looks like an absolute pile. This doesn't look like an absolute pile. It actually looks like fairly well thought out. It doesn't have just 12 random one-offs and is held together by 4 Open the Gates. Yeah.
No, yeah, it definitely seems to have a solid non-Basilisk Gate plan as well, which, yeah, definitely helps it. For sure.
I guess the main interesting point as well is it just going hard on the 4-cat, 4 Outlaw Medic as well. No Squadron Hawk, no room for Squadron Hawk, I guess. When you've got Snacker, you don't really need the evasive threat anymore.
Yep.
So you'd rather just stack up on your life gain guys. Sort of question, is the Guardian even needed as a one-off?
I mean,
like Snacker's just going to be recursive anyway, so do you need that like unkillable threat?
Yeah, you probably don't. It probably comes in like one every few, like matters every, I don't know, one every 20 games maybe, 30 games or something. But I guess
like with Snacker, with Chrysalis, with Sacred Cat, and to an extent Outlaw Medic because it draws a card, like, surely you're just overloading the removal anyway. You've also got 4 Rumbles that make spawns. Like, you've got that many things you can just gate onto that they then have to remove. Like, if they're using cast downs on spawns, like, do you need your Guardian of the Guild Pact?
Yeah, you probably don't, right? But everyone likes a thing where their game plan is I'm relying on this, that, and that. Like, I don't know, Blood Fountain and Crackland Shamans or whatever, or I'm gonna spell bomb
Then you've got Snackers
and Sacred Cats and stuff. I don't know, like you know, like those sort of plans. It's just like, here's my guy that you definitely can't kill, or you've used the one answer and it's just right, you can't kill it at all. I guess.
Yeah. I guess the other side of it is you do just make a lot of like spawns and random tat, so it's probably not getting edicted, so it's probably fine like to win the game. But it just seems like you could probably cut it and add a 3rd Thraben Charm or something, for example, and not actually notice.
Yeah, I imagine it probably would be that. Like, it wouldn't. I can't imagine it coming up very often. Like, stone cold winning the game. I imagine it could be awkward, but no more awkward, as you say, than all the other stuff. But yeah.
But yeah, cool one to see. Also interesting, like, sideboard wise, it doesn't have breath weapons in or fiery cannonades in. Obviously you're playing Sneaky Snackers, you're playing Sacred Cats, like, you don't want to kill your own guys. Like some of the core gates I'll play, but Electricaries and End the Festivities are sort of substituting in.
Yeah, still gives them the tools to answer what they need to answer, right? You know, like the elves and such, and the other 1/1 decks, while also not affecting your own. Sacrifices must be made.
Might be awkward against White Weenie, I guess, because like End is not very good against White Weenie. But yeah, as you said, if you want to keep your Snackers alive, if you want to keep your Sacred Cats and Spawns on the board, you can't really be breath weaponing. Other than that, I had not pulled out anything else. I don't know if there's anything you want to touch
on? No, nothing from me for the Friday.
Sweet. It's been two quite interesting challenges already. And then the Saturday, the 2nd of May, with 52 players, is another one that's quite interesting. First place is another Gates list that looks more of a pile than the previous one. From Kirby, it's Bant Og Gates, Bant Surveillance Gates, Bant Guardian Gates. It's one of those. It's Bant and it is Gates. 2nd place is Jund Wildfire. 3rd place, Boros Tribe. 4th place is Green White Gates. That one's easier to put a name to. 5th place is Blue Black Snacker. Blue Black Snacker Fair. 6th place is Mono Blue Terror, 7th is Gardens, and 8th is Grix Affinity, and then the 2 near misses, 9th Mono Red Madness, and 10th Blue Black Terror. So this Gates list from Kirby.
First of all, it originally is from Alexander Alice Peranchi, the content creator. I've forgot the actual exact name, unfortunately. Apologies. But the Kirby basically added 2 surveillance cams in it, is essentially. Right. And they called it Fog Core Gates, is what they called it.
Even though it doesn't play Fog.
No, it plays Moments Beast, which is Pop of Fog.
It only plays 4 Moments Beast and nothing else that is a Fog.
Yeah. Yep.
A bold name. But it's basically just like a Bant Gate shell with I guess the way of killing them is Guardian, because they went for 4 Guardians, 4 Squadron Hawks as the only creatures.
Yep.
No Rumbles, 4 open the gate instead to find the gates, and then basically just 4 strands, 4 Moments Beast, some counter spells, and randomly 2 surveillance cameras.
So, Kirby basically said...
I guess you untap gate.
No, it's only creature, right?
Oh, is it? Oh, I don't know.
It's only creature. So the logic was for the surveillance cam from Kirby's tweet. You can also follow Kirby and check that out yourself. Is basically Sewer acts as a pseudo fog in the sense it taps down guys, and draws cards in the mid to late game to give you split the Saturday challenge. Here we go. We'll just read it out. With season ended up with fog core gates. Took a list from Alessandro Piricini and added sewer cam as it can sometimes fog and helps with the lack of card advantage the deck has. Still needs work. Got lucky with the matchups.
Yeah. Yeah. I would definitely say it still needs work. It looks a lot more clunky than the previous one that we talked about, the Naya Gates. But it is an interesting take on it. It's sort of a lot more down the core gates route with the journeys, the brainstorms, the counter spells, the strands, Lorien reveals as well. Obviously does the usual splash green to play, open the gates, and an enchantment to put on your guy, which is this time Armadillo Cloak, because obviously you've got 4 guardians that you can't put a Rancor onto, so you need a multicolored enchantment. I don't really get the fog angle, other than you're not really doing much for a lot of times. You just have to...
You got to survive somehow,
try and survive, but
yeah.
If they just play Madness, do you just lose? You've got basically 4 strands to rely on, but you've only got 8 white creatures and 4 of them cost 4 mana.
Yep.
With all you come into play tap lands,
Yeah, you do, I guess the only thing is you basically, you're not missing any land drops, generally, and you will have, I don't know, but other than that, you aren't doing anything. You're just literally playing lands and doing stuff, doing not a lot of nothing. But
the surveillance camera does nothing if they're not attacking you with creatures.
Yeah, it's not great. I guess it's obviously, if they're not attacking you, you're probably not dying, generally. Obviously you got Madness, right, is the big thing. But I think you've just got to accept that as a big L, right? And move on. You just got to accept that Madness is just, you're just not getting there, or you find your 3 counter spells for exactly gutter snipe, and hopefully, I don't know, fuck knows.
I guess my thought is, what is the reason to play this over a different gate shell? What matchups does this make good that you could just play core gates and would be better?
No idea. My initial thought would be Terra, maybe Weenie is probably slightly easier because you've essentially got 8 strands in effect. But I don't know. But you also, you've lost the, open the gates, Sacred Cat aspect of the banned core gates, which is a very strong piece, because Sacred Cat open the gates is very strong at dealing with those aggro matchups, because, well, you've got 8 Basilisk gates now, and 4 to 6 Sacred Cats, depending on how many Outlaw Medics you run, which get online very, really quickly.
And then I think against, the refurb matchups, refurb is going to hit this deck super hard, right? It doesn't have any way other than hardcast Lorien. It has no way to recoup any card advantage at all.
Yeah, you've got
you have to find a Squadron Hawk and just start discarding Squadron Hawks. If Black White Blades just bouncing a refurb a couple times, you're gonna get cooked pretty fast.
Hey, you can flash in your 2 surveillance cams, tap down them,
and crack them,
crack it, tap the 2/1 to save 2 damage, and then you can crack it.
Yeah,
but it's
it's a very strange list.
Yeah, I'm definitely not sold. But obviously, Gates is very powerful. Guardian provides free wins. I can sort of see how it would do well in an event. Do you know what I mean? Basilisk Gate is strong. Guardians Gate sometimes, Guardians of the Guild Pack, can sometimes be okay, you can't answer it. Okay, I guess I win. I've got 8 Basilisk Gates in my deck, so I'll find 3 of them or 2 of them, and I guess you now lose because I'm hitting you for 15 in a turn or something.
Yeah. Yeah, strange. I don't know. My guess would be he just didn't play against Madness for the entire challenge.
I don't know if they put that on the tweet. I can try and find out.
But yeah, it's a strange one for sure. Um,
They did not.
no, I wouldn't have thought so.
No.
Because even the sideboard is like fairly loose. There's like 2 gatekeepers and 5 blasts.
Yep.
It's not a huge amount.
Not a
Even
single.
you're putting 0 pressure on them.
Not a single red deck. A bunch of terrors. White weenie.
Yeah, I can see like why it would be good against Terra. But even still, like I feel like you don't have much ways to interact with the board. Like you've got some journeys, but if they just have like 2 terrors or 2 or 3 terrors and are forcing you to moment space every turn, at some point they're just going to counter your moment space and you'll die. Because again, you're just not putting any pressure on them.
I guess though in that respect, like Guardian's pretty good in that matchup too. So like,
Yeah.
you know, as soon as you land a Guardian, like it shuts down a terror forever as well.
But then you're not attacking.
No, I know.
You're having to block a terror.
You sewer it, you attack, and you sewer it, and then you can block, hit them for 12.
You can't. It's a Guardian. It's got protection from your camera.
But yeah, it's but I can
Funny gates list.
yeah, it's definitely an odd one for sure. But I can see it's some sort of bonus to it. But yeah, I can definitely see it needing work for sure.
Yeah. The other gates list that is interesting in this challenge is from Marzaboy in 4th place, and it's a lot more straightforward. It's just a green-white gates list, which is interesting. I'm not sure if we've just seen a straight-up green-white list before, or not that I can recall.
Yeah, if we have, it wouldn't have been for a long time.
It's sort of gone down a similar route with just I have 4 Guardians of the Guild Pact, and it's going to get a gate on and kill you. But they also have the Outlaw Medic and Sacred Cat to obviously do well in the aggressive matchups. Still on Armadillo Cloak as the enchantment, 4 Journeys as a removal, and then basically a lot of Malevolent Rumble type cards, which is interesting. There's no open the gates. They're basically just going to find the gates with rumbles, I guess. Because there's 4 Malevolent Rumble, 2 Midnight Tilling, which is the instant speed, the new one, and 2 Cash Grab as well.
Yeah. I'm also, just to clarify on the name, we will call it Green White Gates because I refuse to call it the name that Marzaboy has named this deck. Just to let that, and that is all we will say. We will not mention the name that this deck is being called. It derives from a Yu-Gi-Oh term, so we don't we don't name those things. But speaking of the list, I think it obviously shows how, in a similar as the other deck, is how good Guardian must be at the moment. And it's very reliant on I will put a Guardian and some Basilisk stuff on and go from there.
Yeah, it definitely looks a lot more together. Obviously, it's going to have a similar problem with card advantage, but it does have Outlaw Medics and Sacred Cats to sort of have some 2-for-1s or some bonus 2-for-1s in that regard. Still has Strands, has Strixhaven Charms as like the main removal alongside Journey to Nowhere. And then the sideboard looks like it really wants to not die to madness, unlike the other list. So there's 4 Gatekeepers and 4 Pulse of Morasses and extra Strands. To go with the 3 Strands in the main and the 4 Cats and the 4 Medics.
And to an extent, there's another new Strixhaven card there, right? The Shattered Acolyte.
Yeah.
Which is essentially like a Cathar Commando, whatever it's called, but has lifelink.
2 mana, 2/2 with lifelink, and you can pay 1 and sack it to destroy an artifact or enchantment.
Which,
quite
again,
cool.
Is another pseudo one that has lifelink, so you could...
Yeah, you probably bring it in, don't you?
Yeah, probably.
It's got lifelink. Yeah, cool one. Cool to see sort of a different take on gates again.
Definitely. The gates meta is here.
Interested to know how well the Midnight Tilling and Cash Grabs performed over something like Open the Gates. I guess, given you have Sacred Cats and Strands in your deck, like Bin and stuff, is not actually the worst.
Yeah. It is an odd one. But I don't know, I guess, like, obviously, my thing is you always look at Rumble and you think, okay, this is fine. But then I do think, though, the Rumble side of things, you can get too many of those cards.
Hmm.
And then, obviously, Midnight Till and Cash Grab both don't give you anything back. So, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there's what no squirrels for the thing. The other one's just basically instant speed, right? There's no.
Yeah, I guess they are technically the same, right? Both Midnight Till and Cash Grab, right? Because they're both instant speed, but they're just two.
Yeah,
they're just
fair.
both 2/2 split them for reasons.
Yeah, and you've got no squirrels anyway.
Yeah. It's interesting. I do prefer this list to the previous list, obviously, that we talked about for sure.
It's a lot more understandable, I guess.
Yeah.
Moving on, the final deck that I want to touch on is this blue-black. It's Snacker Fair, but very light on the fair. It's essentially just 4 spell stutters, 4 snackers, and the 2 fairy seers is the fair package. So only 2 fairy seers looks very strange because we're just used to seeing 4. But it's essentially just like a blue-black fair list that's custom fair for 3 mob lookouts, which is the Spider-Man card, right? Like the 2, is it a 2 mana or 3?
Yes.
When it enters,
and it connives.
A creature connives. I don't think it has to be.
No,
itself.
it can target anything. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Sure.
It can attack, which I like.
This was the card that the entire fans Discord lost their minds over and just has not seen play since Spider-Man, right?
I think so. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool in this deck, though. I think it does a lot of things.
Better than 2 fairy seers?
That I don't know, but I could see it being, with the snacker in, I could see it being better than the other 2 mana stuff, right? Like the Modern Age or the Augurs and stuff like that, which I like.
But it still has Modern Age, you see?
Yeah, I don't understand why it's got, that was my next point. It's got 3 Mob Lookouts and then 2 Modern Age, which I think I'd probably just be on 4 Mob Lookout and then put at least a 3rd Seer in.
It sort of looks like an Augur that is actually useful rather than just putting 3 cards on the bottom. You can bin your snacker. I guess that the fact it only draws 1 card is not ideal. This is the problem the blue decks have over, we've seen a lot of Boros and red playing snacker because they can discard it and draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
Where the blue decks sort of suffer on that. The best card they have sort of to do that is Abandon Attachments, and this deck only plays 1 of those.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not really sure. It's like a weird hybrid, isn't it, of the blue-black snacker terror list and the blue-black fair list.
I think I like the idea of snacker spellstar, which we've obviously seen before, right?
Yeah.
That idea is not new. But I also do like the new stuff that it's trying. I like the Abandon Attachments, and I don't hate the Mob Lookout. It attacks, it fits in with the ninja stuff, but then it's tried to stretch itself that far that then all of it looks out of place. It's only running 2 Fairy Seers, it's only running 2 ninjas, stuff like that. But the concept of those cards, like the Abandon Attachment and Mob Lookout, are really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I sort of agree that I think it's just too stretched trying to do too many things. It's got 2 Gurmags in as well from a terror side of it. 2 fairy seers and then only 2 ninjas means your fairy package is sort of weakened, but then also you just ninja mob lookout whole thing that you want to do is also weakened because you've only got 2 ninjas. The 2 modern ages look very out of place now because you've essentially replaced them, but then not taken them out.
Yep. And you don't want to ninja it, right? You don't want to ninja it compared to the other stuff, really, because it takes that long to come back online.
Yeah. It still has the same problem with Snacker if it only draws 1 card. You bin the Snacker, but you draw 1 card, so then you have to do something else. Obviously, the same issue this Mob Lookout has. But then the card that fixes both those issues with abandoned attachments where you can just discard your snacker and draw it. You only play on one. At instant speed as well, so you can do it end of turn and still hold up spells to a sprite if you need to. Obviously, you won't get the snacker back, but it seems like a sort of a cool idea, but just quite all over the place at the moment. Maybe needs some more refining.
Yeah, that was basically my point that I was trying to get to. Like, I really like the idea of Mob Lookout and the abandoned attachments in there, because if you have Mob Lookout and Ninja, like, it fixes them both drawing one problem, because obviously you can Mob Lookout, connive, the counter matters as well in these decks, because obviously you now survive certain hate spells and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's black and blue, so it dodges snuff out. It also is slightly easier to cast. You've now got used to your black man and stuff like that. But then also, you Mob Lookout and then Ninja. You've now drew 2 cards plus your card for your turn. The snacker you've discarded from Mob Lookout can come back.
Yeah.
Right. It all gels, and then, like, that idea gels, and then you're like, oh, there's only 2 faces. Oh, there's only 2 ninjas.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, God. Like, and then as you say with the spell stutter and the abandoned attachments, the logic works really well, because you can hold up spell stutter / counter spell. You do nothing. All right, abandoned attachments. This extra land, like this extra land or the snacker or whatever. And then, yeah. But it's just trying to do too much, I think, is the problem.
Yeah, I think you could easily take this list and cut the Gurmags and cut the Modern Ages, cut the 1 Ponder, like put another 2 Seers in, like maybe another 2 Ninjas, and it would just look a lot better.
Yeah.
But there are just like some weird numbers, like you say, with the only 2 Ninjas, a 1 of Thorn, 2 Gurmags, 2 Seers, a 1 of Ponder, a 1 of Abandon, a 1 of Spell Pierce.
Yeah.
3 Brainstorm, 3 Cast Down. Like, the numbers just seem all over the place.
Yeah, definitely.
But quite a cool concept.
Suffers the blue-black problem.
Finally given Mob Lookout some time that it was promised by so many people. Whether it was impressive or not in these challenge games, maybe it comes back and this list just has 0 Mob Lookouts in, but we will see. Other than that, there wasn't too much else on this challenge that I wanted to talk about, unless you've got any.
No, nothing from me.
So moving on to the Sunday the 3rd of May, 53 players, so quite a low turnout for the Sunday. And it was probably the least interesting challenge as well, so we're going out with a bit of a whimper. First place was Rally Red, 2nd and 3rd were a pair of Gardens, 4th was Rakdos Madness, 5th was Boros Moxite, 6th was Boros Tribe, 7th was Boros Moxite, and 8th was Boros Tribe. And then the 2 near misses, 9th Jund Wildfire and 10th Mono Red Madness once again. I mean, there's not really too much to talk about. I guess the big takeaway is Boros Tribe putting another 2 copies into the top 8. Is that 4 top 8 in 4 challenges. Obviously none on the Friday, but 2 on the Sunday. Yeah. So the deck is very real. Which is cool to see from essentially a brand new deck. Yeah.
And looking at just touching on the lists to an extent, the only thing that I can notice is one of them is trying 2 flings, which is what it is. I guess with all the people obviously playing Moments Peace in their Core Gates decks, everyone's like, oh crap, I need an answer for something.
It's an interesting one. I mean, like, you're going to make some pretty big guys, even if you're just flinging like a 10/10 Spirit Mascot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of damage.
Yeah, definitely.
Although Fling is an awkward one, but you've got like, what, 12, no more, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then the 4 tribes. So 15 ways to just bin it if it's no good.
Yeah.
And a bunch of them just replace it with other cards. So doesn't seem the worst.
I have a strange question.
Yeah.
Right, which is, it's probably an offhanded comment that might end up turning into a discussion, which I don't want. But what's with the 4-2 split of the Eidolons? In my opinion, surely it should be the other way around, right? So, for clarity, they run 4 white, 2 red. but the chance that you play something and the text matters, surely your creature can't block is more relevant than the prevent a next 3 damage, right? When you're making a giant spirit mascot. But then is the logic that it's a white creature so you can play it in strands? Like, is that the logic? Like, I don't know.
I feel like the most likely reason for it is whoever made the list first just put that split in, and no one's bothered to question it. Would be my thought.
So here we are questioning the important things on this podcast.
Yeah, the actual ability, I agree with you on the red one seems more relevant, because you stop something from blocking, and really you're not really supposed to be casting them anyway. The 4-mana 2/2s that you have to pay 1 to activate, so it's going to be very marginal.
Yeah,
whether you do that. The Strands thing, I can sort of see being relevant with it being an extra white creature, because you do only have the 4 tribes and the 4 mascots otherwise that are white creatures.
I'm
not sure, to be honest. I feel like the Strands is probably more relevant than sacrificing it, because if you need to cast the Strands, you need to cast the Strands.
Yeah. No, and I think it is probably, as you say, the person who built the decks went, Strands is probably going to be more relevant. But I don't know. I could also see it being, like, as we've said there, like the spirit mascot gets really big really quickly. So you can get to this point of just...
And it has no evasion.
It has no evasion, yeah. So that was my thought there. So... But yeah, odd one, for sure. But just a thought.
But yeah, other than that, there was nothing really that stands out about this this challenge, to be honest.
It's cool to see, as I mentioned before we started recording, that someone else top 8'd with the Boros Moxide deck other than Viashino, which is quite nice, because it shows that someone else is picking the deck up. They decided to take out the 2 Pursues, as you alluded to previously. Yeah, pretty cool that other people are playing the Boros Moxide deck. I'm doing well. Anything else to add?
No, happy to move on.
Sweet! So we have a listener question, and Mark Pinder, congratulations, you have won one of our PlayPoint codes. I will send you a DM and send you over the code. With a quick question is, with the increasing number of playable legendary creatures, would Nasty End become a viable alternative as your 2-mana black draw spell that it could net you 3, not 2 cards? Is the question.
My initial thought would be no, because it can only sacrifice creatures, right? It can't sacrifice artifacts. And I would say the vast majority of the time, like the bargains and the offerings, and the Eviscerator's Insights all sacrifice artifacts.
Yes.
With sort of Mirror Enforcer being the outlier, but you're sacrificing that with a bargain to gain 7 life.
Yeah.
Not for any other reason. Like you would, if you didn't need the 7 life, you would just sacrifice something else.
Yeah.
You would have to have like a very strange list for Nasty End to be warranted, where you'd play a lot of legends, which I don't think, like, even the Black-White Blade list is playing that many. Even if you played Shredder and Leonardo, you're sort of only going to be playing 4, maybe total.
My main argument for this, though, is as well, you don't have any legendary creatures you want to sacrifice. Like,
yeah, true.
So
I think a good example for that actually is previously in Joe Commander, there was as a commander that was a partner, and it was just a 0-mana or 1 kobold, and you could play you played Nasty End in your deck because you always had access. You could just cast this 0-mana guy and then pay 2 mana and sack it to draw 3, because you didn't care about the commander. Where I think, yeah, that's exactly to your point, is there's no creatures that you do not care, like there's no legendary creatures you do not care about. There's not like a 0-mana Ica Wellspring that's a legendary creature.
Or, like, I think my thing is as well, like, you need, not only does it only hit creatures? So you can get away with not sacrificing legendary creature if the creature wants to die, right? Like like we've done in Gardens previously with like Shambling Ghast and all that sort of stuff. But then you would need like a density of legendary creatures that want to die.
Yeah, because even if you're using like if you compare it Nasty End to Bargain, or even if you compare Nasty End to what's the original one that's like
Costly Plunder.
Like 2 mana sacrifice a creature or artifact, draw 2, like with no bonus at all. Like you're still a lot of the time just going to be sacrificing things like Ichor Wellsprings and drawing 3 cards anyway.
Yep.
Whereas the Nasty End, you have to sacrifice a creature. You can't sacrifice an Ichor Wellspring. And you need to sacrifice, in particular, a legendary creature.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's the thing, I think.
I would say it's not playable. And it's probably not really close to being playable.
Yeah, that's my thought. It would need a lot of... So, if you assume every Universes Beyond set produces a legendary creature that's on colour, and then wants to die, you probably need a good 4 or 5 sets for that to be. Unless the effect's insane, obviously. And that's not saying that we'd ever get to a place like it wouldn't see play, but it would need a lot of work for it to be playable over the others.
Yeah.
Because the cost is too narrow.
Yeah, I think if it also said, or artifact, like you could sacrifice an artifact, I could see it going into Black-White Blade. Because it's essentially like you're not getting that much value off Bargain or off Offering.
Yeah.
Where, like, if someone points a removal spell at, like, you Shredder or you Leonardo and you've got this, like, it's probably worth playing in that case, but it doesn't say that. It's strictly to creature, which is just much worse than the other options.
Yep. I can definitely see that. But I think for that, like, obviously we've seen, like, Insight previously, right? Which, in those decks, which is sort of the similar point where it says artifact, and then if you have a removal spell, you pay the 5 mana mode in the graveyard, and it's just there now. Get some value. Like that's probably from one card. You've gained more from less opportunity cost in that deck. If that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? That one card's drew you 4 cards and says artifact, so it's less constrained. Yeah. So to me, that's the bar you've got to beat in those sort of shells, anyways. At the moment, which is a quite big bar to beat. To Modern Horizons cards, so that means it'll be playable until the next Modern Horizons set comes out. So yeah. But yeah, interesting question. I do see a lot of people talking about Nasty End, to be fair. Quite a lot. But it's the first thing that a lot of people brings to mind when they talk Legend.
It's a cool card, and in the right circumstances, like I was saying, in the Joe Commander deck, it is really powerful. It's basically what you want to start with, because it's 2 mana, sacrifice something that you've got for free, because it's not even in your hand. Drop 2 cards.
Yep.
Like it's in the right circumstances, it is powerful, but I just don't think Pauper has the tools to assemble those circumstances.
Yeah, I agree. Anything else to add?
No, that's it from me.
Well, that's it. First episode back, and I'm feeling good, feeling fresh. Let me know what you think about the episode. And again, if you haven't listened to the previous one, give that a listen and let us know as well, because that was really fun to do. That is all from us at Casting Commons. Thank you all for your continued support. Do not forget to tell your friends, your family, and your school teachers. Until next time, and don't forget to stay hydrated. Peace!
Bye.